In this video, we're going to be talking about the AI trends that you need to watch in 2025 and beyond, and how they're impacting the data industry. We'll talk about the most interesting tools that are out today, where we think things are headed in the near future, and what you need to do to arm yourself and stay relevant in an ever-changing environment. It's a great video. Hope you'll enjoy it, and please let us know what you think in the comments. Thanks. I'm joined by Ravit today. You guys probably know him already. If not, I'm going to ask him to do an introduction for the 2% of people that might not know who he is.
Awesome. John, first of all, thanks for having me. And obviously, we love the work that Maven Analytics does. I've been, obviously following the journey that you guys do. So great courses for the community and everything that you do for the community. And I'm super excited to obviously chat about AI trends because people, and it's obviously a hype topic, but maybe for some reasons that we're going to talk about today. But just for, obviously to answer your question a little about myself, I've been, obviously deeply immersed in the data and AI industry for a while now, hosting the Robit show. It's been close to 5.5 years since I've been hosting the Robit show. The idea when we started, it was clear why we want to do it is we want to make sure that the community can learn exactly what you guys do at Maven Analytics, but just that we don't create courses, we interview people. We interview leaders who are CEOs, CTOs, head of engineering, head of products, those who are deeply into the product and building products, talk about them in the most non-salesy way and get the story out there for the larger community to learn and make sure where they kind of feel that, oh, if we're investing, 10 minutes in the Ravit show, we're not being sold anything, but we are learning something that will help us in our career. So obviously started that journey 5.5 years back with just one motto to make sure where we educate the audience, build a community that is very strong in terms of making sure, that the community kind of feels confident that fine, we will invest that time and obviously join the newsletter, learn more from the different people who are being interviewed on the show, and learn about the technology. Data and AI space is evolving massively, right? So we've been doing that. It's almost a 1 million big data AI community now, and John has obviously seen us growing. We've been connected since a while, and obviously it's been a journey, but it's been for the community. It always is, where we have learned so much from the community and made sure that we try to give as much as we can and keep it interesting, keep it fun for them to learn. And yeah, just on this direction, you can obviously find us on all the platforms, on social platforms, not on TikTok because I belong to the Indian region. India doesn't have TikTok. India has banned TikTok like 4 years back. So, but other social platforms for sure, you'll find us doing some interesting gigs and interviewing people for sure. Yeah, that's a little about me.
Such a good background, and you've got such a fun job. I love it. I posted in the chat, I posted a link to the Ravit show and also to your LinkedIn. So guys, tons of amazing content there. I would highly recommend if you haven't followed him already, you're behind the ball. So get on that. With that, so you're really kind of, it seems like you've been focused a lot on AI pretty recently, which has been super fun. So I'm curious, in your opinion, for folks in our audience who a lot of that is, it's going to be data analysts, data scientists, some people who are aspiring data analysts, data scientists, sometimes next to, things could be like a financial analyst or things like that too.
Right.
What are some of the tools that you think are really should be on people's radar in terms of AI tools that are kind of good already today?
So a lot of tools, you're right. And it becomes like a challenge for obviously all the data folks out there. They're like, things are kind of massively changing in the AI space. We're learning about one tool and there are 5 others which are built at the same time. And now which one should we go after? How can we adapt something that is usually the best for the work that we are doing? Maybe data analytics, data science, machine learning, or something else, right? So there are some fantastic AI tools. What I use, I can tell about that. What I have also seen, I've spoken to a lot of leaders in this space. That's the good part of my job, where I get to, obviously go out and chat with everyone and learn about what they're building and how. Also, sometimes get the opportunity to give it a hand and try, and then also share it with the larger community. So there are a lot of fantastic AI tools that can bring real value, especially in data-oriented roles. One that I regularly use myself is like U.com, which is like ChatGPT, but then a little more, I would say, detailed in terms of how I can kind of get the sourcing as well. And you can use it for like various things. It's not limited to just for social media content creation or just for Excel. It can go up till for like maybe the LinkedIn growth. You can create a masterclass. You can do various things. So I've been trying various things on U.com, which has been a good tool for at least a content creator like myself, but then for others as well who are in this space. I've kind of heard even folks who are in the, say, who's a data scientist and have been working around with coding. They've been using it and they've been doing a lot on U.com as well. And I'm not saying that that's the only tool. You have many other tools, but for me, I've used it, I've kind of liked it, and feels good to me. But then there are other tools as well. When we kind of talk about data engineering, right? Now there are tools like, say, Professy. I know Professy pretty well. Obviously, it's a low-code ETL tool, and they've been doing pretty good stuff in the data transformation space. So if you're in data transformation space, maybe you might want to look at Professy, how they're kind of working in, how they're kind of getting the analytics folks to the next level, how they're kind of working around with data engineers to make sure, and with the enterprise leaders. Actually, it is more high level where the enterprise companies are kind of using them to get that confidence in their data teams. But then there are others as well. And what I always suggest is like all these tools have like free trials as well, which you kind of get. Go try it. And sometimes it's like not every shoe is going to fit everyone, so make sure what size fits your teams when it comes to data. Go for that tool. Make sure you kind of obviously using it as much as possible, because that's the only way how you can make sure where what tool is actually adding value to your data career. Because in the end, everyone, I don't want anyone to go out and use U.com, and maybe if it doesn't fit their the work that they're doing, they would actually go out and find the code in 2 minutes, and maybe for next 10 hours they'll be actually debugging it. It won't make sense for anyone out there, right? Rather go out and make sure how capable is the tool as well. I always tell that AI, there has always been a question where AI is going to take our jobs, right? AI is not going to take our jobs. It's just going to make our work easier. But to make it easier, you have to get smarter in terms of how quickly, how you kind of put yourself out there and make sure where the tool, you kind of get in depth of the tool as well. So there are various tools in this space. No favorites as such, but amazing tools, to be honest, because for us in content creation, it becomes a little more easier putting the marketing copies and all of those things. For us, AI tools have been a game changer, and we, obviously there are courses like you all create, John, which people can obviously access for free as well. You all have paid courses too, so obviously go out and learn more about those AI tools through you all.
Yeah. I love the advice that you really just got to try each of them out and for your use case, because I don't think there's one tool that's the best out there at all. And like you said, there's so many, and we all are doing slightly different things. So yeah, just try them all out. Try to try them without paying for them. I like that advice too.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to hear, since we've got a lot of people in the audience, could you guys drop into the chat? What are your favorite AI tools that you're using right now? Would be great to hear. You might even you might educate Ravit and I a little bit too, which would be fun. If you
for sure.
hear one that, hey, we got to check out, because the space is just moving so fast. So we got ChatGPT, Claude,
Claude,
Notion,
nice.
Perplexity, cool.
Fantastic.
Sniff, I have not tried Sniff.
I haven't as well. So good recommendation, Jyoti. I'm gonna check that out. Very cool.
Awesome. I
Gemini.
love it.
Oh, I've tried Notebook LM. So Ramya says Notebook LM, which is like where you kind of put a PDF and then it auto creates like the podcast for you. And it's like, so John, if you have like a PDF of say 20 pages and now you want like a summary of it, but you want
Yeah.
it in a podcast format, you actually put the PDF into the Notebook LM, and it will actually generate a podcast between two people explaining about those 20 pages. It's a game changer. If those who haven't tried it, go out, check it out. You'll love it for sure.
Wow. Yeah, I do remember hearing about that. And I love the audio format. Like if I'm like on a run or driving in the car or like pushing my baby in a stroller or something, like I can't read a book, but I've got tons of this time, you know? I love that one. That's a really good tip
Yep.
for me.
Yep.
Very cool. Wow. Yeah. Man, I'm going to get the chat
So
after
many
this
tools, right?
and
I
explore it.
was I
Yeah.
was just yeah, I'm just gonna do that as well. Maybe later I'm gonna check with you and your team where we can get all these tools. Like because to be honest, I've been trying myself. I've been doing so much, but then this it's like so much, so many tools, so many good tools, and it's ever evolving. So yeah, I think we're all in this space where AI tools will just uh, there'll be many AI tools, but in 2025, look out for more consolidations as well. Already, I'm telling you, because it's like in the last 3 years, we've seen overwhelming, uh, tools coming in just various categories itself, right? So there'll
Yeah.
be a lot of consolidations. There'll be a lot of companies who would be like acquiring, and
Yep.
those who are really doing well would actually be, just going much more ahead in the race of AI, I would say.
That's okay. Yeah, that's really interesting. So yeah, so you think all these little niche players, they're going to get snapped up by who knows, companies like
Bigger players.
Microsoft or, these people that have unlimited budgets to acquire young startups and then integrate them into their systems, Google. Um yeah, I think that's probably a pretty good prediction. Um
Yeah, for sure.
yeah. Curious what so like I know you said it's not going to take the jobs of data people. It's going to make make things easier for us. Do you think that holds true even like 10 years from now? You think like where do you sort of see are our jobs at risk like 10 years out or still not, you think?
John, to be honest, it's obviously hard to predict, but then
Yeah.
one thing I'm pretty sure that, human intelligence will be at the highest level even after years and years and years. It's
Yeah.
not going to change. It will just evolve. Humans will, like today, if there's a tool that we are kind of using, right? First of all, it's being created by a human in the end, and you know how they've kind of put all things together. It has like obviously the intelligence level that a normal human might have. It's in the end, it's like a machine, and the codes are running behind the scenes. But
Yep.
then, what I feel is human intelligence, like human touch, will never go away, and it has never gone away. Like
Yeah.
I remember we used to talk about, you know, even machines like robotics, machines kind of taking over human jobs. But then
Yep.
it just never happened. It is more on the lines where now humans actually take care of those robotic machines. There's, obviously maintenance, there's coding, there's other things that kind of, arise with these kind of automations that happen in this space. Like if we're kind of thinking about 10 years down the line, there'll be someone maybe writing an email for us, which is already happening, I think, right? Which sequences that we create can already go out, but maybe
Yeah.
something extraordinary, right? 10 years, I can't even predict, because in the last 3 years, I don't know how many things have changed for us, right?
Yeah.
But what I feel is like it's not going to replace or get the human touch out of the game, because uh we humans are smart. We find ways to work around things, and we always go out there and make sure where we are at at a level where it's above even technology.
Yeah.
So I feel humans are going to stay for forever in the tech space, and no AI can ever take the jobs.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think I think and I hope at the same time that we're right and Team Human will always be here. I think we will. It's interesting. So we had a couple of sessions earlier where Chris Brule, one of our instructors, was demonstrating using Python with AI and Jupyter notebooks, and then Enrique was demonstrating using Microsoft Copilot and Excel. And one of the themes from both of those sessions was these guys are prompting it to create code or to do things in an Excel workbook. And with both of their sessions, they had to sort of check its work, and they say like, oh yeah, this is pretty close, but like it's not perfect. I got to manipulate it a little bit. So like that to me,
Exactly.
that's the human element. Like they were able to create some visuals, some code pretty quickly, but then they had to bring that expertise. And really what I think they had to bring is judgment and critical thinking to say like, okay, yeah, it created code, but is it the right code? And is it getting me the answer that I want? And that's something that these tools, that's not something that they are necessarily good at today. And who knows, someday if somebody could solve that, it would be a very lucrative problem to solve if they could wipe out all the analysts. Personally, I don't see it just from my understanding of the technology today. So it's not something that
Yeah.
keeps me up at night,
Yeah, no, I don't think so as well. But it's a long game. We're very intelligent to be replaced that easily, to be honest. And it's also about the skill set that humans have in terms of even understanding things. I don't think machines can be made that intelligent as of now. But yeah, over the time, let's see what happens. We are in that
Yeah.
interesting space for sure.
Yeah. I'm going to keep an eye on it and see, like, if my opinion ever changes, I'll be open about that. But right now, I
Awesome.
feel okay about it.
Yep.
So one of the things that's so cool about your job to me is like you get to talk to so many experts around the data industry, right? Like I feel like you've gotten to meet everybody. And I'm curious, like specifically with AI, if people are like on this call want to learn more about AI later, who are some of the people that you see as like the best thought leaders that should be on everybody's radar? Because I know you know everybody.
Yeah, no, I think obviously I love my job as well because I get to meet people and meet the best of the best in the data and AI world. So if for folks who kind of looking at I can't name one, but then there are many, and those obviously those who are kind of looking to dive deeper into AI landscape, some key people to watch obviously include Andrew Engie, whom I can't miss out. He's kind of put like the foundational learning for AI and amazing, courses. I'm pretty sure John, pretty well about how he kind of
Yep.
operates, but also a good thought leader in the space, in the AI space. His commentary kind of resonates with a lot of learners out there, and also there are other folks like I recently spoke to Anche Bot. She's one of the head of developer relations, I guess that's what, but at AWS, and she does a lot in this space in terms of educating the audience. I don't know if I have the book right now, but I got one of her books as well. I met her just last month in Sunnyvale, Amazon office. So amazing personality, right? Where she's kind of teaching the developers how to get to the next level in terms of their journey, coding, and obviously a lot around AWS as well. Then there's obviously folks like Winwashist, who's working in data strategy, AI strategy space. A good, I think he runs his own company and amazing thought leader again in the space. I'm pretty sure folks know Ali Miller, Cassie, these
Oh yeah.
like I've met Ali in person, I've met Cassie in person. Two amazing women in data and AI to follow for sure. If you're not doing it, just go ahead and do it. You learn about so many things in this space very quickly. Ali is like on top of AI. She has everything in terms of courses. She'll be going out and trying new products in AI. Everything that kind of comes out new, you'll get to learn from her very quickly. So love to follow these influential personalities in AI space. It's also about for anyone who's kind of wanting to make sure that they want to grow in AI. It's not only just about using tools. Like that is one important piece of being in AI, but then there's another piece which is going out and consuming content which makes a lot of sense for you and obviously your career as well. Like even if it's watching this session, right, John, I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
Maven does a fantastic A+ job in terms of putting the courses together. And when you all kind of came up with the idea of doing an open campus, I'm like, it's a game changer. There's no way I'm not participating for something like this, because you all have that educational content that kind of goes out and people can learn it in the most easiest way. And then you bring in the great thought leaders in the space and get them to talk about their experiences. So what better than consuming the right content from right places? So big believer in following the right people, but also following the right channels, taking interesting courses. These are like good ways to keep yourself updated in this space, but also upskill yourself. Just a good way to just go ahead in your journey.
Yeah, I love it. I dropped a few of the names that I knew in the chat. I've seen Ali, Cassie. They're amazing. I've been aware of them for a couple of years, which is really great. Yeah. Who else? Did you say Steve Norrie? He's really good too.
Yes,
he's
Steve
fantastic.
was there. Andrew Engie, Andrew Part, my friend Kate. Obviously, she was on Open Campus, right? With
Kate Strachny. Yeah, she's awesome.
Yes.
And she's really leaned into AI recently too. From like a couple of years ago, it was more data, and now I think she's really kind of embracing AI too, which is pretty awesome.
I think we all in data space have kind of started moving into AI because we've been seeing so many capabilities now in the data space as well, where AI kind of plays a very important role too. I'm not saying there's a lot of implementation which has already happened, though this year, 2024, because I talked to so many data leaders in this space, last year when I was talking to them during this period from November to December in 2023, that was when folks, enterprise leaders were like, oh, now we're more confident about the implementation. So 2024 will be the year of implementation, where it's still happening because we've seen so much of a evolution happening in 2024 as well. So we are in that midway where the data folks are now having some implementations that are happening, but it's in progress. So even those who are in data space like ourselves, we have to upskill ourselves and get to the next level in terms of learning about AI, how it will impact the softwares that we're using. You go to any conference, talk about Snowflake, Databricks, any Google, AWS, any conferences, right? You'll see every data company having something around AI. And it's not just the hype that they want to create because they want to stay in the market, but it is for real, where they have now AI features, which kind of makes the work of the data teams a little more easier. So everyone's moving towards AI and upskilling themselves in AI from data as well.
Awesome. Yeah, I think really, really well said here. Ravit, let's do some audience Q&A if you don't mind us putting you in the hot seat.
Let's do it.
Hey there, hope you're enjoying the video. Sorry to interrupt, we'll get you right back to it. Right now, Maven Analytics is offering a deal that was just too big not to share it with you. We've got an early Black Friday sale, and you can save up to 50% off of Maven Analytics paid plans. So if you've been considering learning Excel, SQL, Power BI, Python, Tableau, and everything else that you need to become a data analyst or accelerate your career, now is the perfect time. Check it out at mavenanalytics.io. You can see the Black Friday offer in the banner at the top of the screen. You can't miss it. Again, if you're on the fence, there's never been a better time. We don't do a lot of these sales, so I hope that some people will take advantage. Now, enjoy the video. I'll let you get back to it. Thanks.
This one's from Mohammed. What ethical concerns will become more prominent with AI's growth? Any ethical areas that you see we got to have on our radar?
I think the one thing that, and obviously our respective governments are very careful about it, is the healthcare, because that's one of the most important space where we have to be very ethical about the usage of AI. We don't want to mess up with any of those records which have been in the past, or which are currently being recorded, just because we need more forecasting that needs to happen about the future with these AI tools, because it can be where you have to decentralize all the data to the AI tools, where it could be a challenge and it could be an ethical concern where like obviously companies have kept that data, like governments have kept that data, the healthcare departments have kept that data for years into that black box. And we want it to be there because those are very important data, which doesn't need to be exploited just because we want to get that AI game into the play. So I think that's where ethical concerns can come into the game if AI kind of grows. There could be other places as well, such as finance, where obviously you don't want to exploit your financials to an AI tool, where every banks, every financial institution is kind of making sure if they are getting into any AI specific product specification as well, like where they have like any feature in the product that is AI specific, they're making sure that it is not where there would be any red flag that could be put out by any of the customers, because you need to be very smart. Even if you're kind of going out and doing having a chatbot in place, and if you're asking a question maybe to the chatbot, it shouldn't be where, oh, now AI is going to give us answers which we weren't expecting in terms of telling us about our bank transactions. Whereas it should be very much protected. It shouldn't be out there until and unless we are logged in, and now the system knows this is Ravit Jain asking for his account details or asking for his bank transactions 1 month back at this time between these hours, or maybe asking about certain other transactions. So keeping it safe that way, it will make it interesting. But it can, obviously institutions are smarter than us. Like at least finance and healthcare, they are very smart in terms of they take this slow ball in terms of like other industries get into it and then we'll get into it. But those could be, with AI growing, those places can have some ethical concerns coming into the play for sure.
I think it's a really good answer. And it's like that data is so sensitive. Think like your personal health data, you might have things you don't want in a database, or you don't want people to have access to. And really there's kind of the push and pull, because the best way to use that data is to get it all together and run it with the latest, smartest algorithms. But like the people who that data is describing might not want to be in there. And you'll hear companies talk about their amazing enterprise level security, but realistically, we've all heard about hacks at some of the biggest banks and all that stuff. So, I'm skeptical about some of that stuff myself personally. And I think it's a real concern, a really good one. This is a great question from Viviana. So she says, how do you envision the future of AI in data analytics concerning data democratization? Will AI analytics be more accessible to non-technical business users? And then what does that mean for data professionals? So I guess in other words, like today, the business person might need to ask an analyst like myself, hey, can you help me get this data? If the AI tools are better and they could just, type into a prompt or even talk into a microphone and get some of that data out, like, do you think that's where it's going? And what does that mean for the data person like myself that today is fielding those requests? Really good question, Viviana.
Very good question indeed. I think even though, we've been, talking a lot just before this about, if AI would actually replace a human, this is exactly what, people are concerned most about. To be honest, what I feel is like, we are definitely getting into that direction. I won't deny that. I 100% agree that there have been tools which have been very much like there are AI agents which can easily get you those details. I've seen it firsthand from those builders as well, where they've connected the source and now they've typing in, and they're kind of, pulling in different sort of data from various stakeholders, and these stakeholders are actually just sitting like different sources of data, right? So it is definitely getting into that direction, but still the one thing that I know is like still there'll be a human touch to it. We as humans have, and this might sound a little bit philosophical, but we have that we have that, we always need that assurity, I would say. And if we kind of, obviously don't get that assurity, sometimes we don't even believe AI systems. We are like, oh, something's not right. But I'm still saying 70% of the tasks could be automated by something like this, where you are sitting in front of an AI system, chatting, you're pulling in data. But I'm pretty sure you might start filling in on something else, or maybe you might have something more on your plate. Once you have that 50% of your job role kind of go into AI, you'll have something else that would actually take over. You would want to take over and, want to handle. And I'm pretty sure, John, you might have like more important things, because you've experienced something like this day in and out, chatting with a lot of data analytics professionals too.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say there's I'm just sort of thinking about like maybe where it is today and where it might go. I definitely agree. There's that human element that at least today is currently needed. I sort of have the belief. I think that's the thing. Like no one would argue. My mom can't just like get access to some AI tool and all of a sudden be a data analyst, right? It just doesn't work that way.
True.
Could she 20 years from now? Like maybe. I think that's the question that's maybe more debatable. I personally think no, I don't think that's where it's headed. But there's been some tools already that I kind of was like, whoa, that's pretty cool. Like, have you used Pyramid? I think you've seen Pyramid before,
Pyramid
right?
Analytics, yeah.
That one was pretty cool to me. They gave me access to it, and basically I literally talked into my microphone and it can create dashboards. I never even touched the keyboard, once I set it up, and I was like, that's pretty wild. And it wasn't perfect. It was kind of buggy, and I needed to know how to ask it the right things and everything. But I was surprised at how good the speech to text was, and interpreting context. It was better than I thought. Like things like I said something about sales data, and it knew to pull a revenue column, even though I didn't use the right column name, and I was kind of testing it on those things. So there's already some things that contextually it can do pretty good. So, I wouldn't rule it out. I still think you got to have the person to do the quality checks, to have the business acumen, know the right questions to ask, be able to convince the stakeholders. But it's some of the things are already kind of cool, especially if you have those human skills, like some cool tools already.
I like that. I really like your answer, John, and I'm happy that we both have like different voices to the game as well, because it's not about, audience always kind of feels that, oh, both are going to agree to the same thing. No, that's not going to happen. We both have like our views, and which is good, because you're right in terms of, when you were kind of talking about it, I kind of felt that, yes, exactly. It's right. Not everyone's going to use those tools. It's me who's kind of looking at those tools, and I'm kind of feeling that, oh, yes. And it's just me one-on-one right now. I don't know how much of the viability that tool has right now, and how much will it actually take the jobs for other people who are in this space. Or maybe it's just a tool which we've kind of seen like even 10 years back, NLP kind of doing it, right? So it could be those things as well, but pretty good stuff. Yeah, I'll let you go on with the questions for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm just dropping the pyramid in the chat because Becky was asking for it.
Yeah.
Becky, by the way, Becky has been amazing. She's organized tons of notes from these sessions, so everybody who joins gets access to it. And so as we're moving a mile a minute and talking about tools and people to follow and stuff, I'm sure it's getting in there, and it's been amazing. It's not something we've been planned. She just kind of did it proactively for Open Campus, which was very, very cool. So cool. Thank you, Becky, for doing that. And let me get back to the questions. This is an interesting one, and I don't know if I have a good answer for it. So this is from Grace, and Grace says, what projects can a data professional build that can showcase their AI skills? So like if you wanted to show off that you have skills using AI tools, how would you do that in like a project portfolio? So interesting.
I think in terms of, very interesting question and very new, because it's something that I haven't been thinking about a lot as well. But now what people have kind of, obviously there are tons of courses around AI as well. We've been kind of seeing, but it's hard for people to find, which are the real courses that we should go after. So but there are skill sets that I think that you can even showcase as in your, maybe in your resume, that okay, fine, this is what I'm kind of, I've learned in my AI journey. One is like the prompt engineering. I also saw some of the questions, someone asked about prompt engineering and what it is exactly. So I think prompt engineering is something pretty good skill to have in today's world, because down the line, if you're talking to an AI system, you are kind of prompting, and if you have the right prompt acumen, understanding about what the prompt needs to go into, you're doing half the job done, and you can actually get not 100% accurate results, but at least get to 80% of the accuracy and use the best 100% of that tool as well. Not 100%, that's maybe too over exaggerated, but maybe 90% of that tool is, if you kind of go out and have like prompt engineering in your, like, so there are courses for prompt engineering as well, for real. Like for first time, when I heard about prompt engineering, I'm like, why do I need to do prompt engineering? I know English, right? So I can go out and type, and I can, but then it has like a different ball game altogether, because I took like a prompt engineering course myself, and then I was like, okay, pretty cool. This is actually something I wouldn't have thought about even when I'm talking to a machine. So, and then for coding, it's a different ball game altogether. So those things kind of are pretty interesting. I think prompt engineering is something pretty cool. You should also have like something around, maybe I would say AI literacy. It's a new term, not very, I was planning to create a course on AI literacy. I had like a few things as well in mind, but then I never did. I think it's still something which is pretty new for the audience as well. And sometimes it's like, oh, we are very, very much literate enough to understand AI. So why do we need that? But I think AI literacy actually means is, how far in depth do you know about AI? There's a lot in AI, RAG, vector database, 100 other things that you need to be aware of. So if you are, even getting into direction of AI literacy, where you can develop that skill set, that, okay, I know about how AI operates, what's the story. It's like one of the biggest thing to have in your resume today, because you remember the data literacy days, it's still not, where it used to be a thing, and it is still a thing for those who kind of, start their career. They want to be data literate. There are books around it, there are courses around it, there are jobs around it, and people have that in their, even in their resume. So I think those two things kind of stand out for me: prompt engineering, AI literacy. Have those, but there are many out there that you might want to also showcase, and it might actually be according to what you're working in which professional. Like for data professionals, I think these two could be super interesting.
I love it. And I didn't really have a good answer to that one, and I think your answer was perfect. So I think that was a really good,
thanks.
A really good one to share with everybody. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
This one's from David. I think we could do a couple more.
Sure.
This one's from David. David says, what specific skills or knowledge areas should data professionals start focusing on now to stay ahead of the curve for upcoming trends? Really smart. Like, where should you invest your time today?
Yeah, I think one thing you would want to, invest your time is, again, upskilling kind of takes a very, very big role in today's world where we are living. Like for myself, to be honest, even if I go out and interview, and for me, it's like easy because I kind of get to talk to many people. I can go out and interview and get, the knowledge. I can go on calls. But for professionals out there who have like full-time gig, and now they also want to make sure they want to upskill themselves and learn more about what's happening in the AI world, there's a lot to be, there's a lot that you could do. Obviously, spend a lot of time learning the AI tools, but also make sure that you're kind of well versed with, the advanced machine learning techniques as well, where you kind of, because that's where, how AI kind of operates as well. You would want to learn a little about the machine learning techniques, obviously the NLP, which plays a very important role with LLM and, conversational AI on the rise. So that is something pretty interesting. Also focus on generative AI and, obviously the foundational models. I think learn how generative models work along their applications in content generation, simulations, and maybe beyond that as well. That could be pretty important. I think the other thing that I'm kind of also very much close to is GraphRag. I recently also did an interview with Neo4j team, and they work in Graph a lot. So we spoke around GraphRag, and that was pretty interesting topic to me because with increased interest in connected data, knowledge graphs, in which are actually becoming instrumental in enriching AI application with contextual relational stuff, that becomes pretty important. And GraphRag is another thing that you might want to just try it out. It's a little complex. I'll give you a disclaimer. It's a little complex, but I wouldn't say it's very difficult. It is something very interesting for sure.
Awesome. Yeah.
Many things. I'm sorry. I know those are like many things, but then I think folks, whoever fits, for whatever fits whomever, they can give it a shot for sure.
Yeah, I love it. And one of the people that Ravit and I both know is Kristen Kerr, who she does a lot of stuff with machine learning. So she'll be here tomorrow. She's got the 1 o'clock slot tomorrow, and she's going to be talking about machine learning and LLMs. And she does a ton of interesting stuff. She's way over my head in terms of the technical stuff that she does with machine learning these days. She and I used to work together at the same company a long time ago.
Oh, wow.
And we've kind of gone down different paths, but she'll be fantastic. So if you are interested in kind of somebody who's really good with the technical side of it, much more than myself, she's a really good person to follow, and she'll be here tomorrow at this time. So ask
her about the school bus detection. Like
it's so fun. Yeah.
She's really built that for real, where she has like a camera outside her house, and then whenever the bus kind of comes in, it actually gets detected what's it's doing. So if you're really technical, you will love her. But apart from that as well, she is a fun person to learn different things from. Super intelligent. So definitely tune in tomorrow for her session, I would suggest.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab her link real quick and throw it in the chat, because she is so fun. And that's I love the school bus project you're talking about. I've sort of followed her doing that. It's probably been like a year and a half, 2 years she's been working on it. At the beginning, the model wasn't very good. It was like detecting cars that it thought was a school bus, or it was missing a school bus. And I think it's pretty good now. I think she's been able to train it pretty well. So
exactly.
It's fun seeing that happen over time, Yeah, amazing. Let's see. Oh, this is a good one. This is from Daria. So we talked about kind of some of the pitfalls and ethical concerns like security of healthcare and financial data. Do you think over time companies will start to have their own local AI solutions, like that they're not going to the cloud and sharing data with? Like how much do you think that will be part of the trends?
So it's a very good question. Like, I know a few companies who do that, but again, the only challenge for the mid-size and small companies is like the cost, right? In the end, in how much can they do themselves, and if something goes wrong, it becomes a challenge. There will be companies who might go that way, but I don't think in the near future that's going to happen, because people want to right now just focus on AI, and they don't want to take on the next step about security as well. When that kind of grows, maybe down the line after 5 years, maybe there will be companies who might want to build their own solutions for the security reasons, and so that they don't share data, but not right now. I think we're not going to see that very quickly.
Awesome. I love it. I think you're right. Like, if you're Google, Facebook, sure, they can do that.
Yeah.
Maven
exactly.
Analytics, we're still kind of like operating out of a garage and not quite at the scale where we can build our own LLMs. to do stuff with. So yeah,
And it's
that makes a lot of
costly
sense.
at the moment. It's
Yeah.
costly at the moment, right? You wouldn't like, no company would want to get into a space which is where there's already a solution out there which kind of fits in very well, and you wouldn't be spending 10x the amount doing it yourself. So
Yep.
it's that easy as it is. But when you kind of go to a scale like Google, AWS, these guys have like the money, they have the manpower to, and it kind of makes a lot of sense for them as well. So yeah, they would do that.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Hey there, I hope you enjoyed this video. This was part of our open campus event where we ran 24 sessions in front of a live audience over the course of 2 weeks. It was a ton of fun. We did all these live sessions and we opened up our entire learning platform for free. You did not need a paid account to take advantage of all the courses. So folks could learn Excel, SQL, Power BI, Tableau, Python, etc. All the stuff that you need to learn data analysis skills and take your career to the next level. If you missed it this year, keep an eye out. We'll definitely be doing this again next year, probably again in October. We would love to see you there. And the last thing that I'll leave you with, if you're looking to take your skills to the next level right now and you've been on the fence about a Maven Analytics paid plan, we are currently running our early Black Friday sale. This is the absolute best time to pay for Maven Analytics if you want to, so don't miss out. You'll have the opportunity to save up to 50% on paid plans, which is a pretty great opportunity. You can check out all the details at mavenanalytics.io. Just look for the early Black Friday banner at the top of the site. You can't miss it. Hope that we'll see some of you there as well. Thanks for watching.